Brian Cabrera, 8:35. So we're on time. We hope you are. I mean, we know how many of you are still not back to work yet, but whatever your plans are for the day, we hope you're running on schedule. 69 degrees in Linden. Barrett Insurance Agency on with us with owner and operator Mike Barrett. Good policy time. How are you, Mike?
I'm well, Jeff. How are you?
I got coffee. Haven't needed it yet, though.
A little too busy to enjoy it, huh?
Well, you remember the days in radio. It's always crazy in here keeping people informed. But one of our segments here, folks out there, those of you joining us, is Tuesdays at this time. We talk about insurance and how you need to keep up on it, how changes in your life can change your insurance and such. And Mike, over the past 3 weeks, we've been hunting to replace a car of mine because I don't have the money to fix the one that I've got, and it's not worth putting all that money into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the joy of finding a car and then getting insurance on it. We had a chat, I don't know, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago when you were saying, you got to make sure you do this before you buy the vehicle. That's good advice, right?
Yeah. Try to get an idea, ballpark of what it could cost to insure. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It can be confusing. For example, I just went from a 2008 car to a 2004. And one would think that, well, maybe the insurance would go down, but actually it ended up this time around being about the same, and I didn't even get a sports car. Imagine that, huh?
Wow. Now, and really, there's so many factors there. Model year is certainly a huge indicator of what the price of an auto insurance policy is going to be, but there's so many other factors as well. Performance of the vehicle. Not a lot of people think about it, but every vehicle. Let me bore you for a quick second. Back in 1981, remember those days? I was 6. It was great times. But in 1981, a year later than they originally planned, which was 1980, that's when the 17-character VIN system originated for vehicles. And that 17-character VIN system actually had to be redone, I think, in 2011 because they were running out of the options and the ways that they do it. But that 17-character VIN gives you everything you need to know for a vehicle from 81 on about that vehicle and how it's going to be rated. It's going to give you a symbol rating. And what is a symbol? Every vehicle gets a symbol based on a number of things determined by the insurance services office. And it could be crash test studies. It could be probability of loss. It could be probability of theft. It could be cost to repair. And that symbol is going to play a large factor in insuring that vehicle for physical damage coverage. Now, when you're doing liability only on a vehicle, you don't see as much of a sway. It certainly has a bit of an impact, but liability only, really the bigger factor is going to be, the size of the car. Is it a V8 or a 4-cylinder, or is it a sporty car, and who's the driver? Now, that's a pretty big factor as well, obviously. So that could be why you're not seeing a large sway because maybe something in that symbol system has indicated that the vehicle you have, even though older model year, has more cost for insurance.
Well, let's talk about that symbol here for just a second. You say that there's all kinds of determining factors when it comes to insurance. Let's say, for example, somebody has let's say a 2004 Camaro, just for the heck of it, right?
Sure.
And it's not so much your driving record that impacts the insurance as it is those who have had that same car in your age group previously making claims can make a big difference, right?
No, believe it or not,
Really?
I mean, that's a great thought, and the actuarial studies that back up the cost of insurance would include that. But in terms of the actual rating, the biggest factors in rating an auto insurance policy would be the vehicle, the driver assigned along with their driving record, their age, and things of that nature, and then geographic location. That's kind of the big three that play a role. And then, of course, your use of that vehicle is a major factor as well. Do you drive it just for pleasure use? Are you a Sunday driver? Are you retired? Are you not driving to and from work every day? Are you driving to work less than 15 miles one way? Are you driving to work over 15 miles one way? Do you use that like I would say that I use my vehicle for business? Because, yes, while I do drive back and forth to my office, I also go out on the road in my vehicle for the purpose of Barrett Insurance, which means my vehicle is a business use vehicle. And, of course, there's other options as well, like a farm use vehicle or classic or antique use that can have different factors as well. But that's really going to be the big foundation of where the rate comes for your insurance.
Well, and there are times that I don't mind being not right, and that was one of them. Because I think that's no, seriously, I think that's one of the myths that people have out there, saying that drivers between 18 and 25 years old who get into a sporty coupe are more likely to have accidents, more likely to have damage done to it, and so on and such forth. But as you just said, that's not always the case.
So it's not based on other people necessarily. It's based on the statistical data for that age group. So you are certainly getting rated on your age. So you were partially right in your comment. I think I was taking it more of a real impact, where it's an average impact. It's the law of large numbers. So you look at how many boys or men between the ages of 18 to 25, how they drive, and that's why many companies have a specific rate to that. And then as technology continues to evolve, there's more things. I call it's an algorithm at this point, because they program exactly how they want to have things rated. And so there is a number of things that are factored in the rating process now, including credit scores and things like that, or insurance scores would be a more appropriate way to describe it. That you really need to be a PhD to get in there and nail it all down. So the best way to find out what you're going to pay is to call and get a quote.
Well, we talk about, I think we talked about this a few months back when the whole COVID-19 shut down businesses for a very long period of time. There were some folks out there that were taking their personal daily driver car. They weren't doing their regular job anymore, and they were doing, things for the community. Like they were delivering food. They were, some of the school bus drivers were bringing food around to the kids or getting homework off to the kids and stuff like that. Those are the kind of things, like you talked about using your truck for work. Now your vehicle becomes somewhat of a work vehicle, even though you may be volunteering or under table.
Right. And that's the beauty of what many companies did, is they lifted a lot of their restrictions and softened some of their guidelines on a temporary basis, so that if you are one of those people out there who are now driving your vehicle for the purpose of delivering food and things like that, they're being a lot more gracious with that right now. I don't know if that's coming to an end in the near future or not. We're certainly on an ebbs and flow of the COVID-19 virus pandemic, so it's kind of a wait and see approach at the moment.
But as we always say, the most important thing is to have that conversation with your agent. And like you say, it doesn't matter whether they get the insurance from you or from somebody else, but it's always important to conversate and talk about the changes in your life, whether it's auto or whether it's home or whether it's life insurance, right?
Absolutely. I met with some folks the other day, and the more I talked to them, the more it was kind of like an onion. The more I discovered what they had, and then reviewing coverages of what they had currently versus what they should have, there were some things that were missing. So that conversation can be very vital in terms of ensuring that you have proper protection.
All right, Mike, we know you're in the office this morning. You guys are doing business safely under the current COVID restrictions. Tell folks how they can do business with you.
Absolutely. You can give us a call, 748-5224. We are physically located on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury at 309 Portland Street, as a matter of fact. You can also find us online, thebarrettagency.com, where you can get a free online home or auto quote. You can also look for us on Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
And Tuesday mornings at 8:35, right here on Magic. Mike, make this a great day today. To you, Jen, the family, and the rest of the crew there, stay safe and healthy. We'll chat next week.
Absolutely. You guys stay well, too, Jeff. We will talk next week. Be good.
Thank you very much. Good policies with Barrett Insurance on Magic in the Morning. Now to music.